Hey guys, Eric here. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Before we tune in to the details today, I have one little favor I'd like to ask you. Are you listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify? If you are, and if you haven't done it already, it would be so helpful to Anita and I if you could leave a 5-star review. It could just be putting 5 stars or even writing down something that you really enjoyed and learned from the episodes that you've heard so far. This kind of help would really improve our ability to give you better content and also to help other people find out about Taiwanica. So if you wouldn't mind taking just a few moments to do that if you haven't already, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we really hope you enjoyed today's episode. This is episode 11, talking about funerals.
Welcome to Taiwanica. I am Anita.
Hi, Anita. How are you today?
I'm good. What's up, Eric?
Oh, yeah, you remember my name. That's
oh,
great.
yeah. It took a while, but...
Yeah. Anita's feeling pretty chipper today.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on in Oregon today that's special?
Oh, it snowed this morning.
Yes, it snowed a lot, didn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's even more than last December, I think.
Yeah, we just kind of had a freak snow of a few inches. It's melting now, thank God. So hopefully most of the plants and trees won't die. But it was very crazy, right?
Yeah, if they die, what do we need?
We need to probably have a plant funeral. I don't know why you're laughing about that. Funerals are not a joke, okay?
No, it's not a joke. I'm just like thinking about little squirrels and everything. Just feel bad.
Well, hopefully they're okay.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yes. Well, anywho, today we have it's a little bit of a dark topic, but we're not going to make it feel dark. We just want to really highlight the quality differences between Taiwan and the USA. Now, we already talked a lot about Qingming Festival last episode, but there are a lot of details that we left out so that we can really just focus on the funeral itself for this podcast to let you guys listen. So without further ado, I'm sure a lot of people already know, but Taiwan's funerals are also quite special. Anita, how about you give us an example of why they are?
All right. Again, right now, because more and more people save a lot of customs and traditions, so they become easier, which it's like kind of like consider as a new way of doing your funeral.
Okay.
So that I will talk about that part later.
Okay.
So right now I wanted to focus on the traditional way.
Sure.
It's very scary.
Scary?
Yeah.
Well, funerals being scary.
Yes. Okay, so here we go. If someone died, right? This is like a super traditional way of doing a funeral. Someone died and you have to move the body back to your home.
Okay.
And you have to put it into the refrigerator, like for a dead body.
So there's like a special refrigerator for a dead body. Do you rent it? How do you get one of these? Do you go to 7-Eleven or Family Mart and be like, hey, give me your ice cream freezer?
I see how you are not serious about this thing.
Sorry. Couldn't help myself. Where do these freezers come from?
All right, so there was a company in Taiwan, actually, that will help you do this kind of thing. So basically, you just go there and tell them your plan. So they will provide you everything that you need for the funeral. Of course, you're going to pay them. It's like a package deal.
Gotcha.
So there will be a, just like I said, a refrigerator just for their body.
So this service is available. You just call them up, and then they will deliver this refrigerator to your house?
I think you have to go visit them first to see which day is available.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, most of the time, if you booked or buy the package deal from them, they will help you do everything, including I'm pretty sure you've seen it before, especially in Tainan. They will have a huge open tent thing, has tons of flowers outside.
Sure.
That's
Sure.
also including in the package.
Oh, wow. So
Deal.
basically, when parts of roads get closed off, and all of a
That's
sudden there is all of these special colors, usually purple and white is what I see. Am I wrong on this?
The tent color usually doesn't really matter, but when you enter it, you will see the pictures of the dead person.
Right, a really big picture
Yes.
surrounded by flowers.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that very clearly. And this is, I don't think just a Taiwanese thing. I remember seeing this in
Japan,
most of
right?
East Asia.
Oh yeah, Asian countries
Yeah,
are like this. I
yeah,
guess.
it's really interesting. So then you have the cooler, or the place where they put in the body, and then they're in there
Yeah.
in front of this picture, surrounded by
Behind
flowers.
it.
Oh, behind it, surrounded by flowers. And what happens at the ceremony?
Basically, again, very traditional way. Everything you have to go through a fortune teller. So the fortune teller will tell you, based on this person's background, like when he was born, and he's sort of like based on the lunar calendar stuff.
Okay.
And that fortune teller will able to tell you which day will be the best day for these dead people to move to whatever is a graveyard or whatever. If
Basically, the next stage.
the next stage.
Uh-huh.
So usually you have to wait till at least, I think, few days.
Okay,
Like
it depends.
Yeah, it depends.
Because I've seen some of them go on for a very short period of time, maybe 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And then another one, I remember there was one time when I was living in Taichung, and then there was this funeral that
right.
happened. And that ceremony lasted for weeks. Like, they were there
Yeah.
for at least 3 weeks. And
Yes.
I was like, wow, that's a really long time.
Yeah, so just like I said, based on the person, and the fortune teller will tell you like which day will be the best to move on to the next stage.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so that's the part. What about participation? Like, in the United States, just to give a little bit of an idea from a foreigner's point of view, when you have a funeral, it's supposed to be the one day. You go there, you participate. It's a ceremony that everyone gathers to, that is really close to the person who died. And then basically you celebrate that moment together by watching this person either be buried into the ground, or other ceremonies can happen with cremation, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it's usually just a day event. So what is it like in Taiwan?
So just like I said, it depends on which day, how many days, right? So if
Okay.
the funeral stays, let's just say for a week. So if you're relatives or friends, within those 1 week, you can go visit, show your respect to the death, or
Yeah.
wanting to, comfort the family. You can go
Yeah.
visit. But if you are close, no, sorry. If you are the family member, for example, like when my grandpa died, it was when I was still, I don't remember, 5 years old. I was
Okay.
5 years old, so I have to stay on the site 24 hours
So for an entire day.
for an entire day. But it's not just me. It's like taking a ship. Like my father, watching for like.
What are you watching?
Just stay there. It cannot be empty. You just have to stay there. Keep the candle lighting.
So if a candle goes out, you light
You
it
are
again?
doomed.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
There's a serious consequences.
Okay, so basically you have a job
To do.
and the closest family has to guard
Yeah, like a guard.
the person who passed away
Yeah, so
for 24 hours.
just if, like I said, if the thing stays for a week,
Then
the
it's the whole
candle,
week.
yeah, the candle cannot be,
Extinguished.
yeah, for a week. So you have to keep it
Going
going.
and going and going. Okay.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things. At a set time, for example, like each day, I really don't remember the exact number, but I know that each day you have to burn like certain
amount of
things,
incense or things. Wow.
and paper money.
Wow.
Lots of things like
So there's
that.
a lot of little details about the funeral that go into not only just the tradition, but also depending on the family and on the amount of time the funeral goes for. And also the fortune teller. If the fortune teller tells you it needs to go on for this amount of time, then you have to do even more things.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting and very, very different from United States. So you were talking about your experience with your grandfather, and you had to sit there for a while. What was some of the activities that you had to do besides like watch this candle?
I was so traumatized after that funeral.
Wait, you were traumatized?
Yes, because
Why?
okay, so in that thing, I don't know if you should call it a funeral ceremony. Just like I said, again, within those time, every day you have a schedule.
Okay.
It's like a Taiwanese priest. There was a guy there. They
Okay.
will tell you what to do. For example, oh, it's time for us to do something, and then everybody, the family, the offsprings, your grandchild, and
Yeah.
everything, has to kneel down in front of the
shrine.
Yeah, you can call it a shrine. And then the priest will say something. It's like, I don't even understand what he's saying.
He's speaking to the gods.
Yes, spirits, basically.
Okay.
And someone will play some like really sad music on the background, and
Okay.
then everybody needs to cry. And
Wait.
it's cry, yes.
You need to cry?
Yes.
What does this need? What do you mean by that?
If you don't cry, that means you are 不孝, like you are bad offspring.
Oh my gosh, so you did
didn't-
not learn well?
Yes.
You are not a
Yeah.
part of this family?
Yeah,
you are
you
a
are-
disgrace?
Yeah, sort
Shame
of
on
thing.
you, shame on your cow
Yes,
sort of
like
situation?
your dad grandfather will be so disappointed in you in the future, and he won't give you blessings or things like that.
Wow.
So you have to cry. So when I was, remember, I was 5 years old. Every day you have to like cry. I remember 3 times.
And you're like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, I was like, most of the time I just pretend that I was sick, so I don't have to be part of it because it's just so scary. Everybody's crying. Like,
I bet
really
your 5-year-old
loud.
understand, like
Yeah.
grandpa is dead and you're like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, and I was telling my mom, I was like, Mom, I don't want to do that because I don't know. I don't feel like crying.
Yeah.
And my mom just pretend, just make some sounds or like that. I was just like, what is that? I was like,
That's so creepy.
like I said.
So that is scary.
It
That
is scary and
You're right.
traumatizing.
All right. So there's crying, there's candles. What else do we got? Is there anything else that we should highlight about Taiwanese funerals?
And that was it during this whole time. Then they will move on to the next stage.
Okay, what's this next stage?
Like traditional way, we usually bury the dead body.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay,
Cremation is considered as bad.
a bad omen.
Yeah, and just like you're cooking your family or something like that.
Oh, okay,
Anyway,
so there's a lot of controversy about cremation.
Yes.
But with burials, it's okay.
yeah, it's like the most natural way of handling the situation.
Sure.
So during those times, like I said, for example, the funeral stays for a week, and within those week, I think that was my father's job. He has to talk to, another mysterious character.
Okay.
He can tell feng shui.
Oh, okay, so it's basically a geomancer.
Oh, that's what's the
That's
word.
what that's called, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So he will find the best graveyard, the location, like,
Yeah.
everything. He will take care of everything. So once the day comes, like the fortune teller say, oh, on this day, you can move on to the next stage, which is, you go to there and then everybody
Gathers and watches the body go into the ground.
Yeah.
So this is the only point that is similar to the United States.
But on the way there from the ceremony to the graveyard,
Oh,
you have to walk.
walk the body.
Yeah, someone will carry the body. I think it's
And then a
against
casket, right?
Yeah, the
Oh,
coffin. Or
yeah, the coffin. Yeah, it's pretty similar.
And you have to cry all the way to the graveyard.
Oh, yeah. Well, this part I can completely be emphatic with because in the United States we do the same exact thing. But because this is the only moment where we have
I
with the
see.
body, we actually do want to cry because this is our farewell moment So based off of our culture, it makes total sense, you know, because this is our last moment to be with that person. Yeah. So, and then you put them into the ground, and it's like a farewell from all existence, you know. So that makes a lot of sense. But you have a geomancer help you pick a spot.
Yeah.
Do you have to pay for that spot?
Of course.
Is it more expensive if you're like in the sun or if you're under a tree or something like that? In the United States, it is.
Really?
Yeah. If you are looking for a spot in the United States, the man who owns the graveyard or whoever owns the graveyard will basically tell you about the lot. And so the lot is like there's space over here, space over there.
I see.
If you want to have a cheap space, you gotta be next to the sewer, or you know, like, or if you want a really rich space, you'll be on top of the hill underneath the tree. You know, there's specific spots that have specific quality and value. So in the United States, we're a capitalist country, so
that's very capitalist.
Yeah, so any moment or any location, we'll take advantage of it.
Yeah.
In Taiwan, is it this way?
No. Like I said, they would just help you to find the perfect spot. It's not like this perfect spot only for this person. If the same spot doesn't mean that's perfect for another person, because they do kind of like fortune teller thing.
Okay.
So they would just kind of like selling a service. So you just go find them, and they help you find a perfect spot for this specific person who's going to be there. So
basically, the geomancer comes in and tells you the spot, and his word is law. Like everyone has to agree to that, and that's where the person's getting buried.
Yeah, because we don't know better, because we're not professional. We don't know how to find a perfect place. So usually we will find some trustworthy. What is that word again? So
geomancer.
Geomancer. Yes, that's the word. How do you spell that?
We'll do that another time.
Yeah, so basically we'll find a trustworthy geomancer.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Just
that the word sinking in my brain.
All right.
And and we just do whatever they tell us to do.
Okay, I get the whole point. So then you were talking a little bit about cremation, and before we get into more detail about that, this is a very common way in the United States. Before, burying people was very common, but it got to the point where, United States is a very big country, so we have a lot of people. Sure, we have a lot of land where we can put people in the ground. But it's, there's a lot of different traditions behind it. Some people will want to be buried by themselves, or want to be buried with their wife or with their husband, or maybe they want to be collected together as a family. And then we have this thing called a crypt for that. And then basically everyone who's in the family of, for example, my name's Matthews, so everyone in the Matthews family would be in this crypt together. Okay. Yeah. Which I think is super creepy. Totally a zombie movie. Most people these days have tried to find alternatives for this kind of, this ceremony. And one of those popular ones is cremation. But before, in like the 70s and the 80s, people would just get cremated. They would be put into a little canister, like an urn. And then there's another part of the ceremony after they're cremated that some people have added to it. One of those being like my mother, for example. When she passes away, she wants to be cremated. And then she wants me to, as we say in English, spread her ashes all across a certain beautiful place, whether it's the beach, or a forest grove, or something like that, something elegant for her to be a part of as her final departure from this planet. So this used to be the most popular way, but recently in the United States, there has been a new way of doing cremation, and that is scientists have found a way to use our ashes in a way to be nutrition for a newborn tree.
Oh, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So basically what you have is a catalog, and you're like, what kind of tree? What kind of tree do you want to be?
What kind of tree?
Yes. So you can be like a maple, or you could be like an oak. You could
whatever tree you want to
Yes, whatever tree works in a certain like environment that you are in. So we are on the West Coast, so I told my mother about this, and she's like, oh, that's great. Then, yeah, I'll be a maple tree. And I was like, okay, great. So my mother, God her bless her soul and knock on wood, that she isn't passing away. But she is going to be a maple tree for her ceremony.
That's very beautiful, but that's not what your mom told you.
Well, I think it's pretty accurate.
But anyways, it's a very beautiful process,
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So that's basically the main way of how America has developed out of the old funeral ceremony. But we still have maintained a lot of the funeral traditions to this day. For example, burying someone is still totally a thing. We have lots of graves. And it really just depends on who that person is and what their religious background is and this and that and the other thing. But to give you an idea of the highlights, one of the most common ones that we have in the United States is a military burial. And this is a very special one in the United States. So if someone worked in the, for example, Army or in the Navy, they can have a burial with the part of the Army comes to their burial and does a special salute to the person with the people with their guns coming in and then shooting off in the air. Or having an American flag folded into a triangle given to the mother of the person who passed away or the wife. You have a question.
Yes, why does it have to be triangle?
It's a really good question. I think it's based off of the symbol of unity. So, yeah, and so you can look more into that. But based off of my research, it's just basically a sign of unity with the country and the person being set into a triangle. And so it's a very interesting custom that we have here in the United States. And it shows that person really worked hard and served their country for the better of not themselves, but for everyone.
Yeah.
And so it's a beautiful ceremony. Another one is very less common these days, but a lot of people used to put their alcoholic drinks poured onto people and not on people, but on the grave, on the dead body. And other ones than that is just just saying goodbye with an open casket. Like you can still see the person's face.
Really creepy.
Which is a little bit creepy, don't you think? Yeah, but that one's not as common anymore.
And how are you going to keep the dead body fresh? Because you guys don't use refrigerator. You just put it into a coffin.
So this is why our ceremony is fast. Because of the rotting. We do have methods to maintain the freshness of the body. Sometimes, from what I've heard, is in certain ceremonies, they will put something within the body or around the body. Make it so that it doesn't rot as fast.
Ooh, okay.
But usually, because of this phenomenon, it's better to have the ceremony as soon as possible. So we usually have a ceremony for the funeral within a week of the person passing away.
We'll be right back.
I really like journaling, but I always end up with no time or cannot find a journal that I really like. So I was like, hey, let me create one. So here it is, a self-help journal created and designed by Anita. Inside the book, I provide very simple and easy to follow template. For example, in the morning, to-do list. In the evening, gratitude practice. So you can use a very little time to start this healthy habit. Go ahead and check it out in our description down below or go to our buymeacoffee.com. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Still, I don't want to, my body to be lying there.
Well,
in the future.
That's fine, honey. If you pass before I do, knock on wood, that I'll make sure that you turn into a maple too, okay?
I don't want to be a maple. I will talk about it later.
Okay.
Or private, okay.
Private conversation. All right. So if you're looking at maple trees, it is not Anita, okay?
It's not me.
All right. Okay.
Continue. continue.
So,
Sorry.
no, that's basically it with the ceremonies here in the United States. I mean, there's a lot of categories. It depends on your religion. So, for example, if you're Christian, you'll be at a church. They can have it at a church for you. You don't have to have it at a church. But a lot of people will have their ceremony at a church. If you are from any other religious background, they'll do whatever it is to respect your culture. Here in the United States, you are not forced to do a specific way.
It's good.
Yes, but no, you cannot bury your grandma in your backyard. Okay, there are certain rules. Okay, to this.
Damn it.
Okay, so. But in every other situation, it's pretty much straightforward. I think Taiwan has much more speciality in their way of saying goodbye. And real quick, I have a quick question about Taiwan, just to kind of finish this up. Let's say you have a person in your family that you do not like. Okay, I'm just saying, like, this person was just a jerk. All right.
Okay.
Was not nice to anybody. Okay. But this person passes away. Okay. Do you still have a proper ceremony for this person?
Yes.
Okay. So why?
Because it's not just about, actually the ceremony is not just about the dead person. It's also about their offsprings. So
Okay.
again, every tradition or customs, like finding a perfect place to bury this dead body, if you can find a perfect place, then you will pass down like fortune to your future offsprings.
Oh, I see.
So
This is very different from the United States.
Yeah.
Because if there is a person who is just a total
you guys
pain in the
won't
butt,
do that.
well, there will be a funeral, but no one will go.
Aw.
So sometimes there will be funerals for somebody, and the only person there is the grave digger, the person who puts the body into the ground, and maybe one person.
That's sad.
It's really sad, but it's just the way it is when you have a person who was horrible. So that's our
see.
point of view on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like Taiwanese people, we are, we're just like, oh, whatever. Even though he was a dick or like a not so nice person when he was alive, but when he died, people would still feel, it's just part of the family. They would still do it. This kind of.
It's maintaining
mindset.
the tradition.
Yeah, and we are very like, I don't know,
Superstitious?
kind. No, but most of the time we do it just because, it's part of the family. So, okay I will do it.
So
Like
family's
this.
family, no matter
Yeah.
what, in the
Yeah.
end. But let's just say this person was really bad to the family, and that you still do it for them, right?
Yeah.
But let's just say you didn't. Okay, you didn't do
my
anything for them. What is the fear? Is there a fear? Are you afraid that his or her spirit? I'm not thinking of anyone specific. Okay, his or her spirit is going to just come and haunt you, or what is the consequences of not doing the ceremony?
There is no consequences if we
Okay.
don't do it. Just we will feel bad
Okay.
because we are very, kind group of people. Just like, oh, someone just died and nobody's caring about that body. We just feel bad. We don't like this thing happen.
Right.
So we will just do it, and we just do it because of our kindness. We're just like, whatever, what's in the past is already passed. So,
So
we
it's
still take care of the
Interesting.
body.
So it's like a way to forgive and forget.
Yeah, sort of things.
Oh, I see.
I've never heard anyone, even though there are some bad people in my family,
Wow,
like, relatives.
specific.
No, like relatives.
Sure.
But they still do it. Like I've never heard anyone just leave the body in the hospital or something like that. So.
Well, that's interesting. I think that's a thing that the United States should definitely learn from, because we should be more respectful to the dead and more respectful to the people of the past. No matter what they did, it's done, right?
Yeah, I mean it's alive. Like, and just think about the dead body just there, nobody taking care of it. It's also kind of
Sad.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely true. And I think that's a very good point. So as a highlight of the ending of this episode, would you like to make a final comment?
Sure. I also one thing I mentioned earlier, right? Like right now, a lot of new ways of a funeral for dead people, like which is they will do the cremation and put their ash. Sorry.
They put the ashes
Ashes into the
urn.
Urn and then put into the in Chinese we say 灵骨塔.
So a crypt.
A crypt, yes. So we just put it there. It's cleaner that way, and it's more eco-friendly. You don't have to,
Worry about the body.
yeah, sort of things like that. So that's the new way. Right now, it doesn't consider as the bad way anymore. So,
Oh. Well, that's nice.
yeah, that's nice. And to sum up for the ceremony, I definitely respect the traditional way in Taiwan, but I mean, for me, it's like death is just part of life. So
Sure.
we don't really need, people to cry to prove that our worth of life when we are alive. I think it's just we should be look at this thing peacefully, and just memorizing whoever died, whoever passed away, using the way they want it to be remembered. I think that's most important than all the customs and traditions.
Understood. So maybe less customs, more individual respect for this said person.
Yeah, and those ceremony kind of like lose the connection between us and the death. So
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing, Anita.
You're welcome.
Yes, it was very enlightening.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Eric. Oh, no problem. No, I'm
sorry.
very happy.
Am I supposed to?
So very happy to share the
yeah,
American
thank you,
point of
Eric.
view.
Yes.
It's absolutely my pleasure. And anyways, as the last part of this episode, please don't forget to like and follow us. And if you have time, we would love to see comments from you. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcast, we would be very happy to have you give us 5 stars so that this podcast can be spread with 2 more people.
That will be it for today. I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about whole death and ceremony things.
That's Anita for you, everybody. Having her little space out moment right at the ending. Good job, Anita. All right.
Yeah, just,
So,
uh-huh.
Yep. And other than that, thank you very much for today, Anita.
Yes.
It was another pleasure.
Yes, definitely.
So Wenro, so soft. All right. Thank you. And we're going to be done for today.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Taiwanica. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.